Namaste. Today we are going to discuss an important movie which appeared in Tamil and later it was dubbed to many Indian languages including Hindi. The movie came in the year 2000. The name of the movie is Saket Ram. It was produced and directed by Kamal Hassan. The leading actor in the movie was also Kamal Hassan. The movie, a period film, it was happening during the tumultuous times of partition years. The movie starts with archaeologists excavating in Mohenjo-daro in a ditch. There is Mortimer Wheeler, who was the director of Indian Archaeological Survey at that time. And we see the protagonist whose name is Saket Ram, along with his friend archaeologist Amjad, working in an excavation pitch. And then they hear that there are going to be a lot of riots and communal disturbances, so they all are moving to Karachi so that there it would be calm and quiet. And as they were moving, they were talking, and Saket Ram asks Amjad, why you people are asking for Pakistan? And then Amjad says, who wants to live in a country ruled by Shariat? I am not asking Pakistan. So here that Pathan is a Pathan Muslim, and that Pathan is shown as a kind of a liberal Muslim. Then what happens? There in the room where they are sitting and having a drink and all that, they erupt into a song and a dance, and in that they are talking, the line goes something like, we don't care whether it is Rama or whether it is Babur who rules the country, but we are all friends. If the movie was happening in 1990s, there was a confrontation between upholders of Rama and those who considered themselves as coming in the lineage of Babur. Whereas in the 1940s, nobody would even think of equating Babur with Rama. So here itself a kind of a false symmetry, a kind of backward engineering happens. But let us leave it at that. The movie then moves to Calcutta, where actually the hero Saket Ram lives. Now note an important aspect here. So Saket Ram comes to Calcutta. It was 2 days prior to direct action day that Jinnah would have announced. However, he comes here. He is with his wife, who is a school teacher, Aparna, and they were very happily married couple. They were there. Then the direct action day starts. With the direct action day, the very tailor who used to come and be friendly with the Saket Ram directs a Muslim mob which comes here and it rapes the girl and then cuts her throat. Saket Ram could do nothing. He could just see it. That's all. Nothing. He could do nothing. So he is very furious, very defeated. He has lost everything that he had within a matter of a few hours. He comes out. Now the Hindus and Sikhs, they start retaliating. Now the movie shows the direct action day exactly as it happened. It was one of the rarest occasions in the history of movie industry where this particular direct action day completely erased from our minds is shown again in its full historical details. So then this starts. The Hindu-Sikh retaliation starts, and there is a point when Saket Ram decides to vent out his anger and kills an unarmed Muslim. At this particular point, a scene comes out which is very parallel to a scene from the Diary of the Vampire. Here, Saket Ram is shown as losing his a human essence, and suddenly a lizard which drinks blood is shown, which is supposed to be the symbolism of communal hatred and violence. Here, Saket Ram meets a character called Sriram Abhyankar. This Sriram Abhyankar character and Saket Ram, they both meet in a mutually suspicious circumstances. Both are ready to kill each other. And then Sriram Abhyankar notices the sacred thread in Saket Ram, and he starts reciting his lineage, showing that he was also a Marathi Brahmin. Once that is done, then that anger, the violence, the suspicion goes off. Then Sriram Abhyankar tells Saket Ram that why all this is happening. Who is leading these entire masses to their destruction? And then he gives the answer, Barrister Gandhi. When he tells this answer, actually in the theatre erupts into an applause. At least I saw the movie 2 times in theatre, and then both the times I saw the movie erupting in applause for this particular statement. Then Gandhi comes, he does his fasting, and Chakravarti, who was responsible for the Calcutta massacre, people are angry, entire Hindus and Sikhs are angry at Chakravarti, and Gandhi is fasting. And Chakravarti coming and asking for forgiveness in front of all the people completely changed the people. Within a second, people start clapping and telling Gandhi had done a miracle. At this point, Saket Ram is really disgusted. He comes out. At that time, Sriram Abhyankar appears there. And he says, see, this is what the people are. They are just herds. They are just thoughtless lambs, and the person who is leading them to the butcher's shop for Bagrit is Gandhi. Saket Ram was kind of confused about the entire thing. Then Sriram Abhyankar gives a book to Saket Ram. We are not shown what is that book. Gives a book and tells him to read it. He would understand what is happening in the country. Now, Saket Ram returns back to his native Tamil Nadu. There, he marries a girl, Maithili. Now, the entire movie is in a way an overkill in symbolism. So, what happens here is, there is a interpretation of Indian history, particularly freedom struggle, where it is said, with the arrival of Gandhi, the Shaktic overtones of Indian freedom struggle moved towards Vaishnavism. So from Vande Mataram, the Indian freedom movement moved towards Vaishnava Janato. This transformation was brought by Gandhi. This is a particular type of interpretation of Indian freedom movement. Kamal Hassan has used this particular interpretation and he shows it in a symbolic way. How? As Saket Ram comes to the old place and he was replacing all the things, taking back the things, he takes back a picture of Bhavani Kali drawn by Aparna, his wife who was killed by the Muslim mob. He comes here and he is given the picture of Andal by his second wife, who comes from a traditional Vaishnavite family. Meanwhile, Sriram Abhyankar contacts Saket Ram again and tells him to come there. There, Saket Ram goes. He meets one of his Sindhi colleagues who had suffered in partition riots and he had come as a refugee with nothing. His wife had been killed, his entire family has been destroyed, he had come here. There is a Raja, Maharaja, who wants to put an end to all this. And how do they do it? They decide to kill Gandhi. So they all enter into a particular place, they do a conspiracy, they decide who should go and kill. Saket Ram gets they put a lot before Kali and Saket Ram gets that. his name comes, Saket Ram is ready to go. He is ready to go and kill Gandhi. As he goes there, he goes to Delhi, he has to go to Birla Bhavan, he meets his old friend, Amjad. He had come to India. And Saket Ram blames him for all these problems. He says, you people have created this havoc and everything. As they were arguing, Saket Ram says, you people came out from outside and you are destroying this nation. And then Amjad answers, retaliates. He says, but your Ram also came from outside as an Aryan. So it is the old Aryan race theory that is used to justify secularism. That at that particular point, he gets angry. Saket Ram gets angry at Amjad, and they were about to enter into a fight. At that time, a pimp tells a Hindu mob that there are a lot of Muslims here, you come and kill them. And so the Hindu mob comes. And this Hindu mob, even as they were trying to come and kill this Amjad, Saket Ram says, no, he is my brother. His name is Bharat. Then Amjad says, no, I am his brother, but my name is Amjad. Even as he was saying this, a guy comes and strikes Amjad. In fact, just before that, when Saket Ram says Amjad is my brother, his name is Bharat, the mob is not ready to accept it. They say you should strip that guy and see whether he is circumcised or not. At that point, Amjad says, don't insult me, don't humiliate me. I am his brother, but my name is Amjad. At that point, they strike at his back, his skull with a hammer, and he falls unconsciously. He is in his last minutes. At that time, he reveals that just like how Saket Ram lost his wife to a Muslim mob, he had lost his parents to a Hindu mob. And then that becomes a transformational moment for Saket Ram. He takes the gun that he had brought to kill Gandhi, and he shoots and fights like a cowboy against the Hindu mob and kills them and everything. He gets transformed. He decides to go and confess to Gandhi. As he goes, a person introduces him to Gandhi, telling that he was a person who saved a lot of Muslim women and children from a Hindu mob to Gandhi. And he says, so Gandhi was very happy, and he says, very great, I am planning to go to Pakistan and preach peace and love there. You should also come. As they were talking, Saket Ram says, no, it is not like that, I have a confession to make. And Gandhi says, I too have a confession to make, let us make the mutual confession as we walk to Pakistan. At that time, Godse comes there, shoots Gandhi, and Saket Ram is totally shattered. The only thing he could get are the spectacles of the reading glasses of Gandhi. He takes them, and then we see that the whole thing is a flashback. The Saket Ram is a very old man. He is in his deathbed. They are taking him in ambulance. That happens to be December 6. So there is a rioting mob, and a police officer is stopping the rioting mob. Saket Ram, because of this sudden mobs coming, they lower the bed from the ambulance into a small ditch nearby so that he won't be harmed. At that time, Saket Ram looks, his last sight is that the controlling police officer who is ordering the police to contain the rioting mob, he is a Muslim. So Saket Ram heaves a sigh of relief as if Gandhi's dreams have come true, and he dies. Exactly as it started in a ditch in Mohenjo-daro, it ends in a ditch in Tamil Nadu. So the entire circle is complete. Now, if you just look at this movie, what actually is the problem with this movie? This is the story. What is the problem with this movie? The symbolism that has been put into this movie. Saket Ram decides to kill Gandhi and starts taking shooting lessons. A surrealist scene unfolds before the viewers. So that surrealist scene is a strong storm comes, which is slightly green. It comes and it blows everything, and Saket Ram is looking at it. He was holding his sacred thread and his revolver and looking at it, this muscular person standing and looking at it. And then, swastika is shown. This is not your traditional swastika, iron swastika. The iron swastika turns into an iron lotus. Then, when they were planning the murder of Mahatma Gandhi, and as they were entering the corridors, the two sides, there are two big pictures, large pictures. One is that of Savarkar, another is that of Hitler. So, what they are trying to tell in all this is that Hindutva is a hate ideology, an ideology that is similar to the Nazi ideology of racial supremacy. Savarkar had a worldview that was very similar to that of Adolf Hitler. And then the second problematic and important problematic thing is this. You have a historical event, a veritable Holocaust, a pogrom against Hindus in Direct Action Day. That pogrom earned the Islamists, Pakistan, their target. There was no such thing in the side of Hindus where they planned a pogrom and they enacted it. They never planned a riot. The riots that the Hindus did during the partition were mostly retaliatory riots, mob violence, mostly spontaneous mob violence, still they went and they killed also women and children and all those things happened. No doubt about it. But they were not planned violence. Some kind of an evil does the planned violence. What Hera movie does is, it has shown a historically accurate picture of Direct Action Day. Now he has to counter it. So he builds up this story of Muslims being hunted by bloodthirsty Hindu mobs in Delhi. Nevertheless, this is false, but there is a historical kernel to this. That kernel is exactly opposite to this. Acharya Kripalani is a great bhakta of Gandhi. Acharya Kripalani was also a leftist to an extent. He was not a pervertedly a leftist of the present ecosystem. He was a real leftist, a kind of an endangered species. He wrote biography of Gandhi. In that he had mentioned that there was a plan, a rumor of a plan of Muslims in Delhi, particularly those who were in police and paramilitary forces, had stored their weapons, including stun guns and machine guns, and they were planning to assassinate the leaders and capture the Red Fort and hoist the Pakistani flag here. He had written it. He had told that when police raided the places, they captured stun guns and machine guns from the Muslim residences immediately after the partition. Immediately after the partition. He had recorded this and it was published by Government of India in 1971. Further, Bharat Ratna Bhagavan Das, who too was a Gandhian, tells about this, and he says that those who informed about this particular plan to the Home Ministry were RSS boys. So you have an actual event here in which the Islamists who were in Delhi planned to take over India on the eve of independence soon after partition. Had that happened, just like Aurangzeb ruled over vast majority of Hindu land and imposed Islamic laws, they could have done it here after assassinating all the Hindu leaders including Gandhi and Nehru. That was very much possible. But what Hera movie does is convert it. Tell that a pimp who has no morality, a Hindu pimp, he was telling the Hindu mob to attack innocent women and children. For this, he had to coin certain absolutely nonsensical scenarios. So you have a Pathan Muslim coming from Pakistan to India during the time of partition. Absolutely ridiculous scenario. And in western Punjab, that is now Pakistan, a completely Muslim dominated area, there Hindu mob going and killing Muslims. Again, another totally nonsensical scenario. So what is happening here is, he wants symmetries. No matter how much false they are, no matter how much historically ridiculous they are, he is constructing a symmetry, and after constructing a symmetry, what he does, he essentializes Hindus with evil. He depicts the Hindu violence as coming from a kind of a Nazi ideology. Whereas in reality, it is the Islamist politics that comes from a Nazi-like ideology. You don't have to go much and search for this. Go to Thoughts on Pakistan by Dr. Ambedkar, and he says that the Islamic politics that was happening during the race to partition was exactly the Hitlerian politics. They were asking for the sky and the sun for themselves. That is what he writes. And a lot of observers, neutral observers, who had watched the great Calcutta killing, they have said exactly the same. The planning, the minute planning that went into the great Calcutta killings, including the support by the British. The British made sure that police were all silent. There is a scene, and that particular scene is also corroborated by Kripalani, where when the Hindus feverishly were phoning the police during the Calcutta killings, the police simply said, "Why don't you go to Gandhi and complain? Why are you complaining to us? You people are supporting Gandhi, then why don't you go to Gandhi and complain?" Also, at another particular point, Acharya Kripalani records this supposed peace meeting. A Muslim delegate said, "Yeah, we abducted and we raped and we abducted Hindu women because we thought that they were more beautiful, so we did it." And Kripalani says, "I wanted to slap that guy then and there." This is again published by Government of India in 1971. From that book I am saying. So this is the kind of planned atrocity that was imposed on Hindus. And you create a fabricated atrocity to invent an artificial symmetry. This is the poison. This is the danger. This is the propaganda. Ultimately what it says, see, the Hindus are bad people. They have to feel guilty. For the partition violence, they have to feel guilty. For the riots, they have to feel guilty. And of course, for killing Gandhi, they have to feel guilty. So, this is how the Ram movie creates artificial symmetry to make Hindus guilty. A very professionally taken movie, commercially also very successful, period movie, wonderful music, but inside you have this very mimetic virus of an anti-Hindu propaganda. This is a perfect example of how a person who watches this particular movie would feel in the beginning. I said in the beginning there were claps, but when the movie was over and when people were going out, I could see that they were feeling guilty, absolutely guilty. There was a kind of an eerie silence when they go out. The movie had succeeded. But if we are aware of historical facts, this kind of propaganda movies would never succeed. Thank you so much.